Okay, I'll admit that right off the bat, when Mike Tyson and Jake Paul was announced, I was super annoyed that freaking Jake Paul won't take a fight with anybody his own age. He doesn't want to fight anybody in their prime, and he always has to have some sort of unfair advantage in his own mind, at least. So I was like, no, this sucks. I don't want to see this. No, 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 no. Until I saw this.
Day one, fun just begun. Day two, we're getting ready for you. Day three, still wanna me? In the contract, big boy. Come on, sign the contract.
Judge David Yakabuchi sees the contest 80-72, while judges Lawrence Cole and Jesse Reyes see it 79-73, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Jake El Gallo Paul!
There's something disturbing about that whole situation. Let's start with Netflix. Netflix's new slogan is Netflix and Buffer. A little circle.
The fuck?
Yeah, really fucked.
Yeah, this is how we have to watch the fight because Netflix sucks. Still buffering.
Good job, Netflix. My freaking fight is just paused. It's buffering, and I'm missing everything.
So I don't know if you experienced this, but there was probably maybe 40-50% of the people trying to watch the fight were having buffering issues, and it just kept stopping, or the quality of the video would decrease. It's like watching a Mike Tyson fight in the 80s with the video quality. But at least there was no interruptions back then. Like no buffering, no black screen saying, pardon the interruption, we're having technical difficulties and this stream is not available at this time while it's live and happening. Yeah, Netflix, you really dropped the ball on that one. You had one job to do. And I used to own a tech company and we specialized in live streaming. And yes, it's a pain in the butt. Yes, it's difficult, but you are Netflix and this was your debut and you screwed the pooch. Half of the viewers didn't even get to see it.
It's buffering, and I'm missing everything.
They're going to have to rewatch it. And for some reason, even after you posted up the non-live video, it was still having buffering issues. So you guys need to do something about your server space or whatever. But you guys were not prepared to do what you promoted. It's clever, the direction they're going in. They just need to be able to pull it off. Because Netflix, they were doing little promotions for their upcoming streams and they did actor appearances. Like they had Ralph Macchio. They had the Karate Kid guys there from Cobra Kai, and it was in a packed arena. So I know some people are like, how are they going to make money? First off, they're trying to get everybody, just it to be more of a standard for everybody to have Netflix. More of a standard. It's a standard now, but they want more of a standard. They want to be a staple, which they already are. But they're trying to move into live streams so they can scoop up some of these live events, because I think the more digital we get, the less physical we're going to experience.
What's wrong? You broke contact.
Contact? I didn't touch you yet.
But I thought you wanted to make love.
Is that what you call this?
First sex has been proven to produce higher orders of alpha waves during digitized transference of sexual energies.
All right, Oxley, what do you say we just do it the old-fashioned way?
Ew, disgusting. You mean fluid transfer?
I mean, boning, the wild mambo, the hunka
That
chunka.
is no longer done.
So I think when there is a physical event that's live streamed, there's only going to be that Netflix wants to position themselves as the main source for that. I'm sure. I feel like the only people that could compete with them is Amazon Prime, but I don't know if they are. So first off, I think it's pretty wild that it went to decision first off, because the way they started this promotion, I mean, here's the thing. This is real-time proof that we're able to be hypnotized and persuaded and influenced. Other people can get us to believe what they want us to believe based off the way they talk and the things that they say and the advertisements they put in front of our faces. We were all hypnotized. Some people can say they weren't, but anybody paying attention to it really is. Let me explain this. You know, we had Tyson saying, I'm going to knock him out. You know, I'm going to hurt this young man very bad. He doesn't know what's coming. He was saying things like, he's a manufactured killer and I'm a natural born killer. And although I believe that's true still, and then obviously Jake Paul saying he's going to knock him out and Tyson doesn't know what's coming, that type of stuff. It's kind of bizarre because after the fact, I kind of felt duped. I don't know if you felt duped, but I felt duped. They knew the outcome of this, which a lot of people accuse Jake Paul of throwing fights. There's a little funny business going on. I mean, think about it. Duh, there's funny business going on. He's fighting 58-year-olds. He's fighting people in their mid 40s who are past their prime. He's in his prime. And he's not using his prime to compete against other men in their prime. He's competing against people that are way past their prime, on the downslope, have a lot of wear and tear on their body. I mean, we're talking about like a brand new Maserati trying to race like a Porsche with 287,000 miles on it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a Porsche, and you can be like, yeah, my Maserati smokes a Porsche. But yeah, maybe a Porsche from 1982 with a ton of miles on it, lots of wear and tear. Now, I don't know cars much, so I don't know if this analogy is perfect, but you'll get the point. There's funny business going on. I'll word it like this. I'll be careful because I don't want to be accusatory of anything, but I'm just observing. I believe they sanction these fights. And I think this is what Jake Paul's company is doing. The more attention that you have, the more money you're going to make, and the more you're going to have people wanting to manipulate ways to make that money. So the smaller promotions, like the smaller MMA promotions and boxing promotions, that's all real. Like that's people fighting their way to the top. Jake Paul didn't do that, did he? He fought retired guys. Sure, the training's real. Sure, he has some legit skills, but he's not fighting his way to the top. He's giving us the appearance he is, and it kind of seems like he is because we're experiencing him do things, and that even when we're like, nah. See, the thing about it, Jake Paul is very smart with the art of war. I know he's got to be. And the reason is because he is using things right out of the art of war playbook. Amidst chaos, there is also opportunity. It's best to win a war without entering one. How would you do that as a boxer? Well, you set the rules, right? You set the rules. Maybe there's something in a contract, and then there's an NDA saying you can't talk about this contract. I'm not saying this is exactly what he's done. I'm just saying these are things that can be done, and I believe he is doing. So you put something in a contract saying, I want this 280-pound guy. I'll fight him at 205 pounds. You see what I mean? I'm giving an extreme example. So if this person has to lose all this weight and draw themselves out to where they're just nearly sick by the time they get in the ring with him and they're just drawn out, that's going to give him a crazy unfair advantage. And if he's old on top of that and has a lot of miles on him on top of that, that's going to increase that advantage even more. So he's only got to get good enough to beat people that all the cards are stacked against them. Age, wear and tear, weird rules in the contract. And these guys that are retired, maybe they made a little bit of money, but you know, Jake Paul's waving that golden ticket in front of their face. You can make a lot of money. You could be a millionaire, not just have $1 million in the bank. You could be a multi-millionaire. All you got to do is fight me. And so it looks like to us, oh, that's interesting. Oh, he's fighting his way to the top. And then we see things like, oh, why is he trying to pick a fight with Mike Tyson? Mike Tyson's been retired for 87 years. And then Mike Tyson's like, oh yeah, let's do it. Because they had a conversation and it wasn't about the fight as much as it was just getting attention, because let's face it, that's where we are these days. The currency is attention. And Jake Paul knows how to hypnotize the world. And when I say hypnotize, I mean simply just capture your attention. Because think about it. We don't like what he's doing, but we can't look away. And what he's doing, he's going by the rules. He's like, there's nothing against the law of what he's doing. It's just very strategic. So he's winning these before he's even in the ring. And that's also going to give him a lot of confidence. I do think he's taken a risk before, but I think he lost that risk. I think the biggest risk he really ever had was fighting either Tyrone Woodley or Anderson Silva. But again, these are guys with wear and tear that have been around a long time. And so they may not be that old, like 40s, they're in their 40s, may not be that old, but as a fighter, they're very old. And that's how it goes in fighting. The wear and tear on your body, kind of like a car. You could have a 2024 car, but if it has 250,000 miles on it, the car is actually, with wear and tear, factored a lot older than the year it was manufactured. And this is what Jake Paul looks for. I think that Mike Tyson liked what Jake Paul pitched to him. Jake Paul pitched to him, it'll get a lot of attention of kids wanting to come up. Like it'll put a spotlight on boxing, basically. Tyson likes that. Also, you know, he's kind of complacent and bored in life. So he's like, I want something to do. This seems fun and exciting. This will capture a lot of attention. Why not? Let's test this. Let me test myself. I think that's what he was thinking about. Because I don't think Mike Tyson could be fake if he tried. He's very authentic, and I don't think he can help it. At the same time, he does have that for the better good mentality now. You know, kind of like a grandpa would have. Sometimes you'll withhold information or not tell somebody the bigger picture if you are setting them up in a way. When I mean setting up in a way, I don't mean a negative, bad thing. I mean like setting them up with inspiration, with motivation, something to look up to. And to be honest, when Mike agreed to do this fight, and then we find out that the rules are like pro rules, knockouts are okay, it inspired me. I'm a 46-year-old guy. I'm like, man, I need to get back into the gym. And that's a good effect on people. Getting back in the gym, that's a good thing. If you're a middle-aged guy and you work all the time, on your days off, you just want to relax. You're not eating as healthy as you used to eat because you're not training for anything. You're not trying to like get stacked or ripped or anything. It's just, this is kind of like a little surge of motivation to get back in the gym. So it does have its good things. And Jake Paul is going to become a billionaire doing what he's doing. But that's my take. That's my take on this whole debacle. Katie versus Serrano is a good fight. And here's the thing, too. I noticed something. Jake Paul is a spectacle. But what he's doing is he's putting on a promotion and creating opportunity where lots of eyes are on it because he's the spectacle. So he's using that as a platform to put on upcoming fighters, which is really cool. But the way he's manipulating his fights in his specific career is very intentional and strategic. And even though it's kind of serving a good cause, I don't like it because it's a very dishonest thing that I don't want injected in combat sports. I don't want it in boxing. I don't want to see it in MMA. I don't want to see it in any real combat sport. I know they do it in pro wrestling, WWE. I don't even know why they call it pro wrestling because I guess it's like pro acting wrestling. And I know that you got to be really athletic to do those things. But shouldn't pro wrestling be like real wrestling? Like no script, the better man wins, or woman. So that's my take. And I think that Jake Paul held back a lot. I wasn't expecting to see, based off the videos they were showing us, we weren't seeing an elderly man. But in the ring, I saw an elderly man. And it made me sad. I don't want to remember Mike Tyson being feeble. I want to remember him being a monster, and he wasn't a monster. I felt like most physically confident and reasonably intelligent men that are in good shape my age would stand a good chance against Mike Tyson now. If you have a little boxing background and then went through a good fight camp. I know that sounds crazy, but what we saw in the ring was exactly what it was. It was a man who used to be a savage, testing himself to see if he still is the same savage. And he is still the same savage here. But his body is just like, bro, no. And we saw a feeble Mike Tyson. I think most people were disturbed about seeing his butt cheeks hanging out in the locker room when his son interviewed him and then he turned around and walked away. But I find the most disturbing thing about what we saw is a 26-year-old guy punching a feeble old man in the face. And he knew. He knew. And maybe Mike knew too. I think they all knew, actually. I think there was a gentleman's agreement aside from their main contract. Like,
Jake Paul's like, look, I'm not trying to make you look dumb in front of the world. I'm gonna make you look good. It'll just be like a sparring match. And, we'll make sure nothing bad happens. Just focus on the promotion.
So that's what Mike did. That's what I think happened. And they can get it sanctioned under any rules they want to agree to, get in the ring to. But a gentleman's agreement is a gentleman's agreement. And let's face it, if you've done business with anybody before where there's a mutually advantageous situation, you don't have to go off exactly. I mean, you don't, in this situation, your job is to destroy each other in there. You know what I mean? It's like knock the other one out. That's the goal. But if you're to make millions and millions and millions of dollars, whether that happens or not, and you both respect each other in a major way, and you're not trying to hurt somebody you look up to, you know, Jake to Mike, and Mike, you know, he's not trying to hurt this kid because he knows that that kid's not trying to hurt him. This is just to shine a light and some eyes on some new upcoming talent, get more eyes on the sport. There might be a conversation that we didn't hear behind closed doors. Tell me what you think about the fight. Do you think that it was an all-out war meant to hurt each other and destroy each other and knock each other out? Or do you think that there was a conversation that we weren't part of? If you like the content, if you like diving deep into these discussions, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to MMAFLIX and Chill. My name is Chris, and I will see you in the next video.
Yeah. Thank you for kicking in with MMAFLIX and Chill. Chill. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. Ring the bell, ring the